What is up, everyone? Today I am super excited, not just because I have finished another sketchbook, but because I am now finally able to set up scenes like this with box mannequins from imagination without guidelines using intuitive perspective. This has been a long term goal for me that I've been working towards for a while, and now I've been doing scenes like this. You can see here some additional scenes that I have expanded to include all of this. And as you can see, I've been doing quite a bit of this lately. And I am super excited because I know from this point on, I need to be working on adding more detail, the clothing, folds, facial features, expressions, and I'm going to be well on the way to beginning the journey of what I really want to do with my art. And so, enough about me. The question is, how did I get here and how can you get here? So, this goes without saying, it's been a long journey, right? I've been practicing over 4 years. Of course, for all of that 4 years, this specifically wasn't my focus. And so, yeah, it's going to take some while. It's going to take a while, but I'm going to try to walk back just a bit and show you the things that I have been working on to get me to this point. And you can feel free to try to implement some of these things for yourself as well. So I'm going to flip back here just a bit. And of course, this is going to be a lot about focusing on construction or focusing on forms, depending on how you want to use that term, and also focusing on perspective. And there will be a lot of repetition of work because really that's what practicing art comes down to, a lot of repetition. If you've seen some of my more recent videos, they've been a lot about trying to share the discoveries that I have been making that have led me to this progress. And this is the starting point of one of them. This is just kind of walking through the general guideline of what you should be um, iterating through as you practice your art, if this is the type of style and the type of art you want to be doing. So, of course, that is focusing on line, then basic shapes, shape control, building it up into a model, utilizing it, starting to add details and practice them, and then starting to use those details informed by structure. And you're going to see quite a lot of repetition, sometimes more successful, sometimes failure. Of course, direct drawing is something I'm really interested in. So you're going to see that sprinkled in as well throughout all of the construction work that I have been doing. So, as you're going to be able to see here, there's a lot of construction work going on. And even when I am drawing straight without the form, I am trying to keep those constructions, those boxes in mind. And lately, I've noticed quite a few artists on YouTube who are professional artists. I am not a professional artist, but quite a few artists that are professional artists and working in the industry, they have been focusing a lot on construction, a lot on form, and the reason for that is because it works, right? It works. So you're going to see quite a bit of work on construction, spatial awareness, those type of drills in here as we go through. As I also said, sprinkled in quite a bit of direct drawing. I really liked how that bird turned out, and I marked it. One of the few times that I have used the eraser in a while here. I really liked how these were some images on the pencil case that one of my kids had. Um, I just thought they were really cool. But yeah, working on gestures and construction is really the main key here because what happens when you continue doing a lot of these exercises, even when they don't work out, you begin realizing things that you're doing wrong. You begin realizing things that intuitively make sense. And so it really is important to iterate a lot. Even when it's not working out, try it again. Try it again. You see here trying to figure out how to construct and make these hats work. Some of them weren't quite working. Like, continue doing it again and again and again, trying to figure out how it's going on. And now the hats aren't too bad. These are still quite high up on these individuals' heads, but yeah, a lot of spatial awareness, a lot of boxes drawing, a lot of quick sketches trying to see what happens if I try to implement an entire scene, doing some more intentionally over on this side. As you can tell, a lot of repetition. I know I want to be placing objects on planes. You have to practice it, right? And what it really boils down to, a lot of what I've found is being able to control the shapes that you are making, being able to control the boxes is really a large part of learning how to do this intuitive perspective drawing, because a lot of the concepts are really simple and easy to grasp in terms of a mental understanding of it. But when it comes to actually being able to use your drawing or art utensil that you're using to implement that shape in a very controlled way so that you're able to control how the box is turning, whether it's up, down, left, right, that takes a lot of practice. And basically, through repetition, you're going to be building different strategies that work for you that allow you to more accurately manipulate these shapes and boxes or cubes, as I've been told that I should use for 3D shapes. Being able to manipulate these cubes and different primitive shapes more accurately to reflect the scene that you have in your mind that you're trying to create, and being able to fit it into the objects that are already on the paper. I did actually I actually did a preview of ArtWad's free program, and it looks like it's pretty good, pretty in depth, pretty detailed. I don't know if I'm going to be doing it at some point, but it really looks interesting. And so here you see me getting into quite a bit of construction work and practice. I think I watched Broken Draw's past few videos and really got inspired to really start diving into a lot of construction, a lot of spatial awareness work, and it is really paying off. And maybe I will do a video on some of the artists that I have really been following and trying to implement their ideas. If you think this is a cool thing that you would like to see, let me know in the comments, and we can do a video of that. One of the things that he pointed out in his video was this idea of combining shapes, like two primitive, easy shapes, combining them together and trying to draw that new object from different angles. It really challenges you. It's not as easy as it seems. Again, I love doing hands, so I will continue coming back to that again and again. Animals are something that I also want to be able to do, so working on the construction with that. Sometimes I need to remind myself to follow the structure and not just wing it. It's so easy sometimes to just try and wing it. So after all of that practice, I also started seeing some commonalities in terms of how to do some more intuitive perspective. And so in my most recent video, I probably need to change the thumbnail and maybe even the title. I kind of I kind of laid out some of the ideas that I had found very helpful in understanding how to do intuitive perspective. And that's really focusing on the 2D shape first before expanding it to that 3D shape and learning how to put that together so you don't need to worry so much about, okay, where's my horizon line? Where's my vanishing points? Uh, yes, you still need to keep those things in mind, but they become less important and you don't actually need them on the page itself to create a scene that still roughly falls within something that all works together. It's not going to be accurate, it's not going to be perfect, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. That's the cool thing about it. And yeah, I laid out, hey, start with the 2D shape. The 2D shape determines how close or far you are from the horizon, and then you just need to make sure that you are keeping that hierarchy of how far or close the object is from the horizon consistent. And that's almost all it is to it. Again, what it really boils down to is being able to control the shapes that you are putting down. Because if you're putting something else on the same level, you need to make sure that the top 2D surface of this shape is roughly the same for the next object you're putting down. So it takes some control, and having that control takes some practice. So the ideas are simple, but the execution of it takes some practice and repetition and many failures. Okay, so don't be put off if you're practicing it and you're not able to do it right off the bat. It takes some time. And so that leads us back here to where I'm finally able to start putting multiple figures and objects into a scene, having them work. Also, as I said before, the next step is going to be adding a lot more detail onto this: faces, expressions, clothing, things like that. More variety of objects into the scenes themselves. But here's what I'm going to give you as the takeaway from this video of what you need to know. Hey, number one, construction, spatial awareness, these types of drills, they are really key. Boxes. I know boxes are not the flashiest thing, but it works. You have to be able to understand them. You have to be able to control those cubes that you're putting down on the paper and put them down as accurately as possible. This takes time. And number two, this takes repetition. Okay, so there is going to be a lot of repetition going over and over and over again. And number three is take it slow, one step at a time. I know there have been some persons going, hey, why don't you just add this in? When are you going to focus on this concept? When are you going to focus on this? When are you going to start adding more shading in? Hey, don't overwhelm yourselves. One of the things that I have learned is that you want to really hone in on one thing that you're learning at a time and repeat it over and over again. And so you'll see a lot more of these scenes, and people will go, hey, you've done a few box mannequin scenes. Why don't you just stop doing that now and go on to the next thing? So here's the idea: even though you have done something once, doesn't mean that you really have solidified that understanding in your mind. So you're going to have to repeat it even when you have done one of them correctly. So same thing applies to your cube manipulations. Just because you do one as accurately as you wanted doesn't mean that it's now committed to your long-term kind of automatic memory. And that's really what building up this intuitive part entails. It means doing it over and over again so that it becomes second nature. So you're not fighting with it. And that's what you really need to be doing to achieve some of the progress that you may see me or other persons doing. So it's going to take time, but I am fully convinced that you can do it if you stick through it. So that's all I have to share for today. If you want to join me on this journey to see what I'm doing, where I'm ending up, hey, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.